Experience with Dime was when the Damageplan record came out, which was 2003. It's a lot of people know me for what I do on that metal show, but my whole history is in radio. I started a radio show in '83 that's still on to this day, and I also do a satellite radio show. So my whole background is really radio, and I've been dealing with these artists for over 30 years, a lot of them. In 2003, the Damageplan record was done. And I was in New York City doing my radio show, and they had just mastered the record down the street. For you guys that don't know, mastering is like the final step. That's when the record's totally done. And they wanted to come up and hear the Damageplan record on the radio. That they were dying to hear a song on the radio, and hear what it sounded like fully mastered. So I said, come up. So the whole band came up, Dime, Vinnie, they all came up. And the record label guy was with him, and he was freaking out because he didn't want the song played so early on the radio. It wasn't going to come out for like 5 more months. He didn't want it to leak out. But he agreed to let them play one song with me on my show. So they come in, they bring the song, and we played it. I think the song was called Breathing New Life, if I'm not mistaken. And they loved how much it sounded on the radio that they said to me, Dime would get in my ear and he'd go, Eddie, play another one. Fuck the label guy, man. Let it rip, play it. So we played another one, and the label guy's just flipping out in the corner. He's just like, you can't play anymore. But the band just was like, they were getting so into hearing their song on the radio. Play one more, fire it up. So we must have played like 5 songs that night. And the label guy just sat in the corner like this the whole time. Of course, during all that time, they were supposed to be there for 10 minutes. They're 2 hours at this point. And we got a case of beer and we're drinking. This is all live on the radio. So the beer is gone, and Dime comes up to me and he goes, hey, Eddie. He goes, got anything a little bit stronger? I said, well, and this is the truth. I said, well, last week, your buddy Zakk Wylde was here. I said, and he brought me a bottle of Jack.
Hell yeah.
This was in Zakk's drinking days, and this is a classic Zakk move that I'll never forget. He walked into the studio the week before with a case of beer, drops it on the console, and a big bottle of Jack Daniels, and he goes, Ed, the beer we drink tonight, the Jack Daniels, you take home. That's for you when you're not working to enjoy. You take home. That's for me, for you. Hey, Zakk, thanks. I appreciate it. 2 beers in, Zakk goes to me, gonna open the fucking bottle of Jack or what? So, the week before, we drank half a bottle of a huge bottle of Jack that he brought me. So since we opened it up, I left it in my locker at the radio station. So I said to Dime, I go, it just so happens that your buddy Zakk was here last week, and he left me a bottle of Jack. Well, Vinnie and Dime darted for the locker, and they come out holding it, and they're like, beautiful. So they killed that, right? And then at the end of the night, we had the best time. We were playing all kinds of music. One of the things I loved about those guys, and Vinnie's still like this, is they loved everything. Like, you know, there's a lot of guys that they want to know, like, they come on that metal show, they want to know who the other guest is because they want to make sure it's somebody that makes them look cool and that they can hang with. Those guys are not like that. Like, Dime is just as happy jamming with Poison as he was with Slayer. He just loved the music, and I love that about him. Yeah! And the end of that night, we played everything from Poison to Slayer, and the end of that night, Dime wrote on the Jack Daniels bottle, to Eddie and Zakk, thanks for the Jack.
Wow!
And I kept the bottle, and I still have it to this day on my bar. And then, of course, you know, the tragedy struck that's unthinkable. But you know, the guy's more alive than ever through his music, man, and he was the real deal, the real deal. Anybody else?